the criminalization of politics. And why we are actually taking this particular topic is that recently the two agencies, two NGOs actually we can say, that is one thing, that is the Association of Democratic Reforms, ADR. So ADR is actually a very important organization working in the electoral reform section and all. So a lot of different reports and analysis and surveys are actually conducted by them. And because of them also, a lot of different reforms have been introduced in the electoral arena itself. So they are actually very good organization working in the electoral reform sector. So not just the Association of Democratic Reforms, and along with the ADR plus the National Election Watch. So they are actually both these NGOs are actually working on electoral reforms only. And because of their report on the criminalization of politics that actually came in the recent times. So that is why this particular topic is actually in the news recently. So their the report actually mentions about the lot of different facts. Two important facts are actually, this came in the Economic Times for sure. So this is a screenshot from the paper. So around 123 of the 1,352 candidates in the third phase of Lok Sabha, not the entire candidates, only in the, even in the third phase of Lok Sabha, that itself actually has around 123 people who are actually women. So that is actually good number of women candidates are actually coming in the electoral foray. The second thing is that 18% have got criminal cases also. So a lot of different people have got criminal cases in the electoral arena also. So we are actually going to discuss about the fact that is actually called the criminalization of the politics. So based on the ADR reports and other data available. So what is the major findings of this particular data? It basically says that there is actually a very high number of political parties. For example, around 50 years back, there were only a few political parties. We know all the names, but now we actually don't know even the names of all the political parties. Why? There are hell number of political parties right now, and that is the main important thing. That is 104% rise in the number of political parties in the Lok Sabha polls and all between 2009 and 2024. So this actually happens between 2009 and 2024. The number of parties actually increase even more than 100%. And the second thing is that all those candidates who are actually going for different elections, let's just state election and Lok Sabha elections, they have got serious criminal charges, and 20% have got criminal charges on their name. So what do you mean by serious criminal charges? All those criminal activities such as murder or rape or attempt to murder or kidnapping, etc. All those things are actually coming under serious criminal charges. So even 14% of all those candidates have those kind of charges in their name. So just imagine all those criminals, lot of criminals are actually entering into your Lok Sabha, entering into Rajya Sabha at different state assemblies. So that is one big drawback of our democratic electoral system, we have to definitely say. And next thing is that, and all the rest of the active criminal cases are actually done by lost 20% of the candidates. And it was actually Supreme Court, they actually asked in 2020 that to give explanation from the political parties. So the Supreme Court asked the political parties that if you are actually fielding one particular candidate who is actually having extreme criminal background, you should also give reason to that. So why that? Why there are? Is there any other candidate? There are no other candidates. Is there something like that? So why that particular person who is having criminal background is being fielded? So that question was actually asked by the Supreme Court to the different political parties. Supreme Court asked the political parties to give reason to the people when that they are actually fielding or selecting those candidates also. But this not actually definitely not being followed up by the different political parties, obvious reason. And because everything, there are a lot of different things which are actually happening under the politics. For example, there is money power is there is muscle power is there. So because only if those kind of things are actually there, the parties will definitely win the election. So parties give consideration to those elements also. So there, most of the parties are definitely not ethical, we can definitely say. And that is the reason why all those law breakers, all those criminals are actually becoming lawmakers. So just imagine like that. So some of the gundas or some of the criminal people who are actually extremely breaking the law, who has got no regard of the law, they are ultimately becoming the lawmakers of the country, who are actually coming into the state legislative assembly, going to the parliament also, to the Lok Sabha also. They are creating laws for us, and they themselves are not actually following the law. So just imagine that kind of situation. That that kind of anomaly is actually being explained by the different reports that is called the Association of Democratic Reform. And last thing is that there is a rise in registered unrecognized political parties, RUPP, that is registered unrecognized. So what do you mean by registered and unrecognized? So which means that it is actually under section 29 of the Representation of the People Act 1951. Election Commission of India registers a political party. but it does not mean that that party has got recognition. So why that particular party has got recognition? That means that to get recognition from the election commission, that particular party has to secure a minimum number of votes in the different Lok Sabha or the state assembly elections. But I can actually form a party, I can register it with the Election Commission of India, and I can simply sit there. I need not contest any elections, I need not do anything at all, I can simply register it. So that is why the number of parties which are actually getting registered is actually increasing, but the parties are not getting recognized. Why? Because I'm not competing in elections, or even if I compete in elections, I'm not getting, my party is not getting enough votes also. So I am unrecognized but registered. So these kind of parties are actually increasing in the current times. So what is the concern regarding this? So the main concern is that these political parties has got a lot of different exceptions. For example, income tax exceptions and all these things. So a person can actually start a political party for those tax evasion and tax the evasion and other things like that. So just start a party, do all the money funding and all the things can happen. I can evade tax actually, but I need not submit all the forms and other things to the election commission because nothing is actually compulsory. The other important thing is that under the Representation of People Act, the Election Commission of India can register a political party, but the Election Commission of India cannot deregister a political party. So that is one important thing. So Election Commission of India is actually, ECA is actually asking the lawmakers and the Supreme Court, etc., that they are pleading that we have the power to register a party, but we also need to have power to deregister a party also, because lot of such parties are actually coming. When an application is coming, and if the application is genuine, we have to register that party. But that party is not at all competing in election. That party is actually not doing anything. Lot of different tax evasion and other activities are actually happening. So we also need power to deregister them also. So that is one important thing which is actually happening around the system right now. And there is, even if the party does not contest in the polls, even if there is no inner party meeting, there is no income tax return submitting also, the Election Commission cannot take any action to deregister the party. So that is one important reason why such criminalization is actually increasing in the current times. That is the topic of criminalization of politics.